live from Phoenix International Raceway. This is SK and K Harvick fan here tonight for the championship round in ARCS 3 and ARCS 2. Right now, ASAP Immortal out to a really good lead here. So tonight, whoever finishes highest wins this championship. Kevin, let me, I kind of forgot to send you an invite, so let me do that real quick. I'm sorry.
All good, man, but I'll say this much. Phoenix is not my favorite racetrack in real life, but in this game, it is one of my favorites. The way it drives is very unique. You do have to use the brakes. Not all tracks in this game you got to use the brakes and things like that. You do here, though, especially the further on the run goes, it's very flat, meaning handling is extremely important. You get sideways here, you don't have a lot of banking to lean on to help you save it. It's all you. The tires, this place in this game especially, absolutely choose tires. It's up there with an Atlanta's rate of tire wear. And that is probably my favorite aspect of this racetrack is the tire management. You get a lot of comers and goers, and you have to be smart. You can't burn your stuff off early in the run, or you won't be there late in the run. That is my favorite aspect of this racetrack.
Absolutely. And right now, ASAP Immortal leads the race. TGM Beast in second. Boiled Ice looking for his second truck championship this season. In third, Nick Pressey fourth. Ryan Pennell and Kinsey just kind of playing back marker as these guys are fighting out for a championship. Head back up front. Looks like TGM Beast tries to get underneath ASAP Immortal. Boiled Ice following him down there on the low side, Kevin.
And Aiden, here's something else you're going to see a lot tonight. Something else unique about this racetrack is the dog leg, the aspect of it. There's a little bit of a misconception with this dog leg, though, that I don't hear people talk about a lot. You see guys, they'll get under there and things, try to cut that, obviously, but there's can also be some disadvantage to that, being, first of all, you're putting more wheel into it coming out of turn 4. That's going to scrub some speed a little bit. While, yes, you're running a shorter distance, when you actually run up the longer version of the dog leg, you actually carry more speed going back down into turn number 1. And also, you wear out the tires less. And again, that's going to be something key here. Again, the tire wear. We're going to have to see how much those guys actually go down on the apron to cut the dog leg or stay out there to save the tires. I think that's going to be a fun aspect of this. And the other thing, I love my short track racing. This place is a little bit bigger, about a mile long. But you're going to see the chrome horn used, I think, here tonight. I'll tell you what, in a championship scenario, highest finisher out of these 4 drivers they've worked all season to get here, they're probably going to be willing to move one another. Very good racing so far, lots of side-by-side. I think later on in this race, we're going to be in for a good one because these guys are already seeming to be very close to one another on speed, meaning we're in for a good show. And these stages are going to kind of prove as a test session for these guys, because for the championship 4, these stages don't matter, SK.
Absolutely, and we saw it earlier. These guys, these 3 up front, ASAP, Boiled Ice, TGM Beast, all just, they have sent it 3 wide. They have pushed and moved the past few turns, as you were talking about how the dog leg and how effective it's going to be for tire wear. I kind of wonder if Nick Pressey's going to maybe try and play a little bit of strategy. He's not as fast here, so now he's going to have to start using that big brain of his to maybe try and do something to get around him. You know, Nick is very smart, very calculated. So be interesting to see.
That's what we learned pre-race.
Yeah, he is a very smart, very calculated driver. So be interesting to see if he tries to maybe try and pull a little bit of strategy move on these guys, as these 3 up front are just man, they are all over the place racing. Boiled Ice takes the lead for the second time tonight. ASAP Immortal going down low into the turn. Unfortunately, we do not have a lap counter here tonight, so we're just going to kind of guess as we go. But these 3 are just absolutely battling. Let's actually pull right into the booth real quick and get a quick lap count.
Indeed, and that's the other thing. These stages are going to go by so fast here because of we're in the trucks. It's a shorter length race. I think the race in total I heard was only 75 laps. So they're gonna be going by quick. And if you're Nick, again, you talked about he might not be as fast here, SK. This is also a good opportunity. If these guys up in front of him are racing this hard, that means they're burning their stuff up a little bit potentially. And it's going to give him an opportunity to maybe see just how much he can hold off and still catch up later on.
All right, let's pull Ryan into the booth real quick. Ryan, SK in the booth. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are y'all?
Good. Just need to get a quick lap count from you.
10 laps left in stage 1, coming to 9 to go.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
You heard it. You heard the man. We are about
9 to go right here.
Yep, 9 to go right here.
Now these guys too, SK, I'm starting to notice this. They're starting to settle down a little. Well, I say that, and here goes ASAP once again. Got to make a move, or actually under a little bit of pressure. My bad. But these guys now they've calmed down a little bit. Maybe tires starting to get to them a little bit. But again, these guys are all over one another. These top 3 are. I mean, how aggressive do you get at the end of the stage, SK? Because something, I guess, as a driver standpoint, and obviously, you know, iRacing and things are a little bit different in terms, but how important as well could the lane choices here on the restarts at the end of the stages be in terms of where you wind up restarting? Because, you know, with this, we haven't had a lot of cautions.
Well, to stop you right there, Kevin, as we've seen, the driving line means nothing. We've seen all 3 of these drivers make passes in 6 different lines since we've gotten started here. So, and of course, stage points do not count for the for this final race. Nothing counts except for the highest finish. So, right now, these guys are going to be battling for a win. So, I think it's going to come down to see. I think for this stage, and probably stage 2, you're going to see some drivers definitely test the waters for that final stage to see if they can get in and make that move, even how crazy or how bold. If they think they can make it work, they're going to do it in stage 3. So we're going to definitely see some really weird things probably happen in these last few laps like we have earlier. We've seen these guys go 3 wide. We've seen guys go high on the dog leg, low, actually cut the dog leg as they're doing, or cut the infield. And we've seen outside passing, inside passing. We've seen a little bit of nudging already. So we're going to have to really kind of just pay attention. These next 2, or the end of this stage, and then stage 2, unfortunately, are throwaways. It's all going to come down. Ooh, big send. Yeah, definitely. ASAP Immortal showing Boyle that he's no slouch. And like I said, it looks like these guys are trying to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks, so that way they know what they got to do come lap, let's see here, I think the race is only 75, so lap 72 or so, these guys are going to have to start doing whatever they can to make it work, and we should be coming to about 3 to go.
Right here, yeah, and I tell you what, again, something to keep an eye on as well. These guys still very close together, but as we get towards the end of these runs, and obviously, I think stage 1 I would take a little bit more with a grain of salt, but once we get into stage 2 here, something I'm really going to be paying attention to out of these 4 drivers, particularly, is how their trucks are on the longer run. We don't have a lot of trucks here tonight, meaning, again, we haven't had a lot of cautions this season anyway, but with this small of a field, there's a very low chance of us getting a caution. It's been very clean so far tonight as we are about to wrap up stage 1 here. So again, the long run speed is going to be very important. It seems like all of them have it right now, but I expect them also to go make some adjustments under the stage caution here because they're going to obviously in this learn some things that they need to fix on the trucks.
Absolutely. Looks like they're still racy, so this probably, I believe, might be the white flag. Unfortunately, Nick Pressey just does not have it this race. I'm not sure what Nick may be thinking about next, or for stage 2, but he's definitely going to have to try and pick up some speed because these 3 trucks
Goes ASAP.
have just been on a mission. Looks like ASAP down low underneath Boiled Ice.
It
That
is.
is the end of the stage. Boiled Ice takes the stage. ASAP Immortal second. TGM Beast third. In fourth, Nick Cressy. And our one and only female of ARCS, Kinsey, rounding out your top five. So good race day for her. Top five is the top five. So that's going to go into our stat book. So good job, Kinsey, as Boiled Ice takes the first stage. Quick shout out to the guys in the chat. We've got Glixen, Deplorable, and Lurkin Tom joining us because tonight, Kevin, we're crowning a champion in both ARCS 3 trucks and ARCS 2 Xfinity. It's going to be very exciting over the next hour or so.
Indeed, as far as Gavin goes, Gavin may be actually out here not only watching the great racing we're having, but also maybe trying to take some notes. He'll be in the Xfinity Championship battle after this race. So maybe trying to take some notes on how the track's racing, some things like that maybe he can pick up on and use for the Xfinity race. I know he's very good here, so we'll have to see. But SK, stage 2, about to go green.
Looks like some strategy moves. We saw Ryan Pinnell up top, but looks like he's just going to kind of back it down a little bit. Nick Cressy looking to push the issue this stage. He's right there with him at the moment. Gives ASAP a little bit of a fender. You know, the gloves are going to have to come off this round. Let's ride along with that 94 truck because he's getting a little loose trying to get around ASAP Immortal. You know, two driving styles that are completely different. So it'll be interesting to watch that Ford and that Chevrolet. But Boiled Ice now running away from TGM Beast up top. So it's going to be honestly a knockout drag out between these four drivers throughout this second stage, Kevin.
Indeed, again, these guys continuing to race hard. I think you'll maybe start to see one or two of these guys starting to maybe separate themselves, though, in this stage. Again, with everybody kind of coming in here on a preset, they didn't get to change much before the race from which of the 9 presets they started on. Obviously, now, again, we talked about these guys have had a chance to make some adjustments under the stage 1 break. I expect to see a couple of these guys at least maybe start to distance themselves a little bit as they've gotten the truck ideally more to their liking. But again, the long run is going to be something we have to pay attention to as well. But I tell you what, these guys definitely have the speed. They're competitive. If you're Nick, though, what exactly are you looking for here? You talked about the strategy, but is there anything he can maybe do as far as maybe trying to find a different line here? SK, we know these guys have been all over the track. What can Nick do to maybe try to get back up to speed with these guys?
Oh, he's definitely found some speed compared to stage 1. Not sure what's going on. I know Nick is usually one of the faster ones, but he does not keep it up. Boiled Ice is on a mission. He's trying to go 2 for 2. He won season 1, this year, and he's looking to go season 2. ASAP Immortal giving TGM Beast a little bit of a bumper. ASAP came in a few races late in season 2 here. And here he is in the final 4. You know, hard work and perseverance definitely paid off for ASAP Immortal as he's made it in. Boiled Ice, the Iceman has just been, stone cold since he came in. TGM Beast, a good friend of mine, raced him in IndyCar on Forza and GT cars on Forza. He knows how to drive the wheels off anything. So we've got 4 really good, really calculated race drivers here competing in this truck class, and it's exciting to see the final 4 coming down to these 4 nose to tail.
Oh, trouble. Unless that was just on my screen, I hope not. It looked like maybe they got into each other a little bit back here and got a little bit sideways. Everybody's able to hang on to it on my screen. I hope that's not a lag, because if so, I do not want to deal with that.
Yeah, it looks like ASAP and TGM Beast got into it just a tad bit. Here comes Nick Cressy to try and get 3rd.
Can you do this? Is going to be close. I think what's happening now is some of these guys starting to lose their noses a little bit, trying to push the trucks. Again, at a flat race track, you run into that a lot going through the corner. You get on the brakes trying to get it to rotate. A lot of times you'll lose the nose if you're trying to push it, slide up into guys. creates some beating and banging. I love seeing it. But tell you what, Boyd has really, while this is going on behind him, started to kind of. He hasn't necessarily pulled away by a lot, but he's not under too much pressure right now. I think it's safe to say.
Yep, looks like
SK?
they've kind of spread out. We've got Haha Boog in the chat says they have nice butts. Yeah, the tail end of those trucks do look really good. Let's actually pop up with our race leader, the number 40 of Boiled Ice, who have really kicked it into gear. Definitely getting some ground gained over TGM Beast and ASAP Immortal. Nick Pressey is kind of barely hanging on right now. He's going to do everything he can to maybe try and find that long run truck.
Well, indeed, and I asked this as well. SK, obviously, you talked about Boyd. He's got a big goal here. He wants to go 2 for 2. You take this as well. While these guys just seem to not be able to get away from each other. ASAP and TGM, they can't break away from one another. This has been the best battle on track so far during stage 2. I predicted one of these guys might start to distance themselves. Boiled Ice has done that. He has distanced himself a little bit here. But I do have to ask, obviously, does he have the long run speed? I have a feeling he might. I think he might actually have really this good of a truck. Or is he maybe putting a little bit too much into it now? He may fall back later on.
Not sure. The stage is coming pretty close to an end. But, Boiled Ice is kind of on a mission here this weekend. He's going to try and go 2 for 2 for trucks. And Gavin, Boog, Crotum, if you're watching, man, if he comes off a win, he's going to be on fire come the Xfinity race here in just in about a half hour, 45 minutes or so. So you guys better be on your toes, because you four are going to duke it out for a championship in Xfinity after the conclusion of the trucks. And can Boiled Ice claim both? That's what he's looking to do. Right now, ASAP Immortal has different plans as he gets around TGM Beast and is now in second place and looking to take back the lead. ASAP led a good majority of the first stage. So let's see if he can maybe try and catch up. Nick Pressey looks to be gaining a decent amount of ground on TGM Beast as well. So these 4 trucks really trying to put the rubber down and make these trucks stick. Let's go ahead and pull Ryan real quick for a quick lap count.
As well, they are starting to close back in on Boiled as well, so this is tightening up.
Hey Ryan, it's SK. Can we get a lap count, please?
Yeah, it's leaders will be coming to 4 to go this time. So
all right, awesome. Thank you, sir.
4 laps to go from Phoenix and SK. The longer run trucks are starting to show up now. Boyled's lead has been cut down a little bit. ASAP and TGM. Nick has also climbed his way back up here. This has gotten tight once again.
Definitely getting pretty tight. ASAP on the bumper of the number 40 truck. So the 30 and the 40 going at it. Looks like the number 10 and the 94 now starting to go at it back there, as you see. But the storyline still remains these 2 up front. Once again, stage points mean nothing, unfortunately.
Oh, it's a little bit of cut. Here goes ASAP.
ASAP moved him out of the way a little bit. ASAP's got the inside preferred line coming into that final turn before the front stretch, or what you would call the front stretch, I guess. So they're going to be battling 3 to go. What a race, Kevin.
I'm curious. Indeed, I'm curious. If you're ASAP, is that worth doing this early? I know these guys want to have fun. I don't think it'll be interesting, but I think definitely, if I'm Boiled, I'm going to remember that later on. You just moved me in the stage, and it doesn't matter all that much. But again, we'll see. They're still side by side. He hasn't quite been able to get away from him just yet. ASAP, I mean, these guys still battling out. This is shaping up to be a really good stage 2 finish here.
Definitely going to be shaping up to be a real awesome finish. Interested to see how this works out. They're side by side still. These guys giving each other no love and no room, almost. Look at ASAP just hug that apron. Ooh, Boyle tries to go
Oh boy.
down. Oh, that is the end of the stage.
Caution.
ASAP was able to, no, that was the end of the stage. ASAP was able to take the win on that stage. So stage 2 is now over. We will be going green here in just a moment. Guys in the chat, who do you think it's going to be? ASAP, Boiled. Do we've got TGM Beast, who's led the points almost all season long? Or can Nick Pressey make a surprise comeback and come in to win this championship? Who do you guys got?
And SK, and I'm not sure as well, but I tell you what, I'll say this much. It does not seem like here, and again, he'll get another chance. All these guys will get another chance to adjust on the trucks once more here before this final stage. After that, we're not guaranteed any more cautions. So you better hope you get it right this time. Make sure you got it exactly where you want it, because this is where the big money's at. Championship time now, the race win. The long run is going to be more prevalent here. This will be the longest stage. I'm actually wondering if we have a pit stop in this stage or not. I'm not quite sure if it's long enough, but we'll see. Green flag back out for stage number 3. Final green, possibly, of the season for the trucks.
Here we go. ASAP out to a good lead. Boiled Ice still in second. TGM Beast third. Nick Pressey down in fourth. Let's ride along with TGM, try to get a little bit better camera angle of all 4 trucks as we're rocking and rolling here. TGM Beast looking to try and keep that points lead and win this championship, but right now looks like he really hasn't had much for ASAP or Boiled Ice. You know, during the second stage, I wonder if he maybe try to make a quick adjustment, maybe try to save a little bit, because we are racing. It is going to be hard charging to the finish.
Indeed, and again, I'm going to bring this. You're going to hear me beat this to death because I can't stress how much this track does really eat the tires. It is one of the harder ones in the game, and I don't know, like in Atlanta or places like that, we can go where it also eats tires. This place is very flat. So handling, I would argue, is more prevalent here than what it is at an Atlanta or a Fontana or any of those places. I think it matters more here so than most of the other ones with the tire wear, because you start fighting loose conditions, it's hard for you to race other guys, and that's going to give you a disadvantage later on in the going. Same thing, you start losing the nose because you wore out the right front in the corners, you're going to start missing the bottom, sliding up, letting guys get underneath of you, making you vulnerable to loose spots. You got to try to save your stuff. That is not more important, or that hasn't been more important in the rest of this race than it is right now for these final 4. Now, we've been talking about SK, the positions don't really matter that much. They do now. Now it is all or nothing. You either have to be the best of these 4, probably win the race as these 4 have dominated the day, or you're not going to be good enough for the championship. That's just the fact of the matter.
Nick Pressey falling way off pace as ASAP Gordo, Boiled Ice, TGM just run away. You saw TGM give Boiled Ice a bit of a bumper earlier to show him that he's still there. Interesting to see how this pans out. ASAP looking very smooth, taking a little bit different line than we've seen him take all race when he was fighting for position. Looks like he's really trying to maybe try to maintain that long run truck. You know, we've seen him go really low in the apron. We've seen him really try to attack those corners. But as you can see now, he is really just kind of trying to keep it easy for the first stint of this final stage, because he knows that the long run truck is going to be most important, because this is all or nothing, just like you said, Kevin. All or nothing. The highest finishing member of these 4 trucks will be crowned champion at the end of the night.
Indeed, and again, I think something that I've been doing a lot so far throughout this race, especially now, I've been on board with ASAP a lot this race because he's kind of been in the heart of the action. but he's also got a fast truck along with these other guys. But is going on board and listening to kind of what they're doing around the racetrack, I feel like I can probably get a pretty good idea of how much they are exactly conserving just by kind of listening to the throttle input. And you can sometimes hear the braking that they're doing into the corner, how easy they are on the throttle, things like that, just how much they're saving. I wonder though, SK, is there a point where you save too much? How do you measure that point of when it's time to go, when it's time to push? Because you don't want to get too far away from the guys that you're racing to where you may not have enough time to get back to them when you need to.
Now, that is a good question indeed. It's definitely gonna. This is kind of an all or nothing, and these guys are starting to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks very early on. Because of, if you mess up, you're done. If you succeed, you've got a great chance at this. So this is gonna come down to the very last lap. I feel like I think we're gonna see the best action we can towards the very end. So let's just see how this pans out. And we will be crowning a champion after we are done with these laps. And this is exciting. ASAP still out front. Got a good distance over Boiled and TGM as they're kind of battling back there. I'm going to kind of pop back down to TGM Beast to get a little bit better vantage point of these two. Unfortunately, Nick Cressy not in contention at the moment. Kind of a heartbreaker for the young man out of New York. So this is definitely big. This is exactly what we wanted to see here. But at the same time, we kind of wished all four were right here on top of each other underneath a blanket. But yet, ASAP Mortal doing really good.
And Aiden, I do have to ask, this is something I think I brought it up in the stage too. I am curious about it. We wouldn't be able to get this answer unless we were maybe to pull Ryan in here or something and ask him about it. But the other question I have is, do we have to pit the stage? Are tires enough of a concern to where even if the fuel isn't necessarily, will the tires make it to the end of this race? That is a genuine question I have as well. Because I do know in the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series, when you go here, you have to pit in this final stage, and a lot of times it's more so for tires, not the fuel. Could we be in the same situation here with the trucks? I have a funny feeling we could be, and pit road could be a whole other discussion if that does end up being the case.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull in Ryan real quick. Get a quick lap count. And if we're gonna have to pit or not.
ASAP just continuing to grow this gap though.
Ryan, it's SK in the booth. I just questioned like what the lap count looks like. And are we gonna see pit stops this race or not?
There's 14 to go. Leaders will be coming to the checker with 13 to go. I really don't know. I haven't been pushing my truck very hard at all, to be honest. But my right rear's already at 55%. So if they're racing hard up there, it's definitely possible that right rear could blow before the end of this race. But just have to keep an eye on it.
Can fuel make it?
Well,
yeah, fuel's good. Yep, fuel's good. Okay. It's just tires.
We appreciate it, buddy. I'll send you back up.
Yes, sir.
You heard it, folks. No pit stops. It's all going to be about that right rear tire. But, man, ASAP out to a commanding lead. Boiled Ice and TGM Beast battling out. TGM able to get around Boiled. So, going to be coming down to the wire. Going to be about, I think, 12 to go this time by, if my math is right.
Do believe that is the case, SK. He didn't guarantee us no pit stops, though. But also, SK, that he's been conserving his truck a lot. Ryan has. If that's the case, that makes me wonder. ASAP has this big of a lead. SK, has he been kind of doing what we saw Boiled Ice do in Stage 2? We saw him, I don't know that it was ever this big of a lead, but he had a very large lead compared to what we had seen back in Stage 1. Is ASAP pushing the truck too hard to get a big lead, and will that come back to bite him later compared to TGM? And Boiled, again, maybe coming back on the longer run on this thing to come get him back here. That's going to be something that's a big question, especially the tires, you're going to have to make them last. You heard Ryan say his was down to 55% on the right rear. He hasn't been pushing. I have a feeling some of these guys are pushing, and if that's the case, you could be talking in the mid to low 40s about the same time Ryan was talking about his being about 55. So if that's the case, there's a small concern for the tires actually blowing out, kind of similar to what we saw at Iowa and TNT back a few weeks ago, SK.
Absolutely. TGM Beast right now still leading Boiled Ice in second place. ASAP way up front. Kinsey looking to start looks like he's catching Nick back there. Nick having a really rough race for his championship race, unfortunately. But you know, the thing is, we did watch ASAP for the first 5 or 6 laps of this race. Kind of take it easy, kind of check up the field a little bit. You know, kind of take that line where it was really hard to pass. And then now he seemed to checked out. I think we're right about 6 or 7 to go, I believe. So let me just pull Ryan back down here real quick as they're crossing the start-finish line.
I'm thinking we're at 8, if my math is right. Let's see. I'm listening to ASAP, though. He is feathering the throttle so much.
One more time, Ryan. How many laps to go?
7 laps. Leaders will take the checker with 6 laps to go. So just one more lap until cautions will be turned off.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right.
You got me.
This time by 6 laps to go. Be very interested to see how this is going to pan out. Still kind of watching ASAP, or watching TGM Beast and Boiled Ice. They look to start gaining some ground, but here we go. 6 laps to go. It's all or nothing. Can these guys push it to catch up? Will they work together, stay nose to tail, try and catch back up to that race leader and see a 3-way finish? No, that was 6. Was it 5 to go with that one? I thought it was this time by. Oh, maybe it is 5 to go.
Yeah, it's 5. We're coming to 4. But again, SK, I've also been riding along with ASAP, and it seems like he has been a lot more on the brakes, a lot more off the throttle. Almost seems like he's a little bit slower through the corners. I don't know that these guys have enough time to run him back down. If by my count, if I didn't mess that up, we're at 4 to go now here as they cross the line. So when you take that all into consideration, I don't know that they have enough time to run down ASAP, even though it does seem like they're closing. Well, I could be wrong.
No, yeah, they are right. They are there. They are there. They are on ASAP. Here we go.
This is not good for him.
3 laps remaining.
Does the bumper get used? That's the real question. And how aggressive does ASAP be right here? I mean, you got to block. You got to be a defensive. Oh, big send.
Oh, he sends ASAP around. Oh, man.
No more cautions. That's heartbreaking.
Oh, that is going to break poor ASAP's heart. TGM Beast gave him the bumper. I think, by the looks of it, though, I really thought ASAP kind of got a little loose on the exit there and was just a little slow, and Beast had nowhere to go and just ran into the back of him, unfortunately. But we're coming to, I believe, 2 to go this time. So next...
This could be the what? We'll see. It's close.
Yeah,
it's one of the...
Yeah, it's one of the 2. We're going to see when they cross the start-finish line if that was it or not. Boiled Ice, not quite there. I don't think he can be there. Looks like TGM Beast
3 and 4.
maybe. Oh, he sends it up. Oh, sends it up high.
You blow a tire?
Yep, looks like he might have blown the tire.
But that is the race.
Actually, that is the end of the race. TGM Beast takes your win. Congratulations, TGM Beast. Give us just a few moments, folks. and we will be right back with interviews. Live from the ARCS Racing Network podium. What a race we just had in the truck series. A lot of excitement. It was nose to tail from start to finish for these four drivers. But coming in third, sadly, but yet awesome finish, third place in points. That is nothing to shake a stick at. Nick Pressey, you had a lot of trouble here at Phoenix, but a little bit of tangle with the leaders. You were able to come up and snag third place. Man, tell me about the emotions of taking home third place in probably one of the best truck series we've probably seen in a long time.
Well, first off, I'm actually very happy about how this season. You know, um, I, I honestly going into that third stage, I was concerned about the length, and I knew that everyone else was using a looser preset than me, so my tactic was going to be taking advantage of the higher preset, making the adjustments I needed so that the tires would last just long enough through the stage, and hoping for some blowouts. We got one out of three. Um, not that we didn't get all three that we wanted, but at the end of the day, it was a very successful race and the season for me, and finally be able to run with the leaders for once, like on par with them on a short track. That's something I take a lot of pride in. So I'm gonna take of a lot from today's finish. Um, I like to congratulate Boiled Ice. Wait, no, who won the championship? With Beast, right?
Yes, sir,
Um,
TGM Beast.
yeah, I'd like to congratulate Beast on a wonderful championship. You know, he's horrifically fast. Uh, he scared the pants off of me, and what a way to do it, beating the defending champion.
Absolutely. Nick, thank you for your time. Always a pleasure. Congratulations on your bronze medal finish and third place total in the championship. So, definitely hats off to you. Hopefully Saturday you'll go off and continue your championship hunt in Saturday Night Showdown. But now standing by our silver medal finisher with K Harvick fan, the reigning champ gets knocked off his pedestal but in spectacular fashion. And what a race it was. Now to you, Kevin.
Indeed. Boiled ice. You got a copy, sir?
Yes, I do.
Tell you what, man, it was crazy. You obviously this place is kind of a tale of many things, but the biggest thing is tire wear, trying to get the truck to last all the way to the end. Obviously, stage one, it was very, very close battling between all of you guys. But then I would assume because it appeared this way after stage one, y'all got some adjustments in stage two. It looked like for a while you had the fast truck, and then ASAP, of course, rained you down at the very end there. And then obviously we get into stage three, and ASAP launches out of a cannon, and he takes the biggest lead we had seen all day. But you guys run him down very late in the going there, and then of course the contact happened. Uh, I guess my first question is, what were your thoughts there when you guys began to run him down, and how did you think that was going to go from your perspective?
I mean, I had a feeling, I sort of knew ASAP with how fast he launched out of that cannon that he wasn't going to make it. I knew I'd sat there, I watched B stage 1 and 2, examining the entire time with the way he stayed back. I knew he didn't want to show like any at all of what he had. And in the final stage, I saw him sitting back and whatnot. And I knew he was tire saving because it was obviously it was going to be really, really close. I mean, I had 1% on the right rear crossing the line. So I focused also on saving and just trying to do all that I could to sit there and last with him. And then eventually he was able to get around me and whatnot. And I was able to keep up with him. And it just came down to the fact that he ended up, I think, started saving a couple laps before me. So he had a little bit more there to push with at the end while I was on 1% coming across the line. So it just came down to a game of waiting till the right moment to use up your stuff. And he ended up using it better than I did. I mean, I tried everything that I could think of. I knew what he was doing, but when you're sick and you're out here battling for a championship, I mean, it's not fun. I mean, you just got to do what you got to do, you know?
Indeed. Well, I gotta ask. Obviously, you again. You guys ran him down in stage three after he had a pretty big lead. You and TGM did. The contact happened first. What did you see from your point of view from the contact that happened, and what kind of ran through your mind? What did you feel like you needed to do then to get past TGM and take your second championship?
You see, me and ASAP were practicing before this race, and one time I accidentally ended up braking a bit late into that exact same turn and hitting him on the left rear, and it shot him right and it wrecked him. And I think that exact same thing happened there. Beast just broke a little bit late and ended up because ASAP used the wheel. I think that probably messes with the way his wheel is and causes him to wreck. So I think Beast just hit him like hard on the rear end and then ended up spinning him. Because with how old our tires were, I just don't think there was anything else ASAP could have did there. It just came down to a setup of exactly what happened in practice, ended up costing him the championship, and that's unfortunate. But that's just the way that things go. Because it almost looked like he got turned by him, but I don't think that was the case. I think it was him hitting him in the rear and it turning him right. Just weird heat physics.
Indeed. What did you? This was part of it as well. But what did you feel like you needed to do to get past TGM and take it for yourself? Get that second one at the end there.
I don't really think there was much more I could have did. I used up everything I had to try and stick with him and run at his exact same pace. There wasn't much more I could have done. We both ran it near perfectly or as perfect as you could do. And he just ran it a bit better than I did. So it just came down to that. I mean, more practice probably could have helped, but I mean, at that point, there's not much you can do.
Indeed, man. Well, congratulations on a very solid race tonight. P2, not quite good enough for that second truck championship, but either way, an amazing season overall. And oh, by the way, you're not done yet. You got an Xfinity championship you're still going for here in a little bit. So good luck there as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Indeed. SK, you have him. The race winner. He kind of snuck up there a little bit at the end. We thought ASAP might have had it, but he was able to run ASAP down. A little bit of contact was made. I know up here we like seeing that. That was fun. Unfortunate for ASAP, but I think that was a racing deal overall. Either way, he walks away from here with a race win and, more importantly, a championship in the trucks.
Absolutely. Your 2021 Season 2 champion, TGM Beast, my good friend Kyle. When you came into ARCS, I knew you were going to be fast. Raced with you in Indy cars, sports cars, prototypes. We've raced a lot of stuff together, and here you are, NASCAR Heat, claiming a truck championship. What an amazing season. I know it was definitely not an easy one, but that you definitely came through clutch tonight when we witnessed ASAP Immortal get into a little bit of tire trouble, and you guys were able to chase him down, and unfortunate circumstances caused it to, just go down to this you and Boiled. But here you are sitting pretty as Season 2 champion in ARCS 3.
Yeah, that stage 3 was a roller coaster of emotions. I knew going into this race that my short run speed was awful, and it showed through the first two stages. And then in stage three, once again at the beginning, ASAP launched out of a cannon there, and ended up getting behind Boiled, and I fell back from even Boiled too. Um, about 15 laps in, I started to reel him back in. I got to him. It took a lap or two to get around him, and once I did, it was just keep calm and be consistent. I don't think I pushed it all that hard at the end there, trying to keep the right rear tire intact. And then yeah, once I got up to ASAP, I truly don't know what happened. I never really made hard contact with him. Probably just more of a racing deal, but good racing to both of those guys. It was one hell of a season.
Definitely one hell of a season, and you definitely came up with the most important prize of all, the ARCS 3 championship. You'll be going down in the Hall of Fame, and I will make sure to get that updated on our website, racearcs.com. So congratulations, TGM. It's been one heck of a year. Hopefully we will get this whole ignition thing squared away, and we will see you racing with us more. But that is going to conclude ARCS 3. Guys, stay on. We're going to continue staying live. They're about ready to start qualifying for Xfinity. We're going to run some commercials. Me and Kevin are going to get a little bit of chit chat, and we will be rocking and rolling here shortly. So let's go ahead and throw up some promos, as we are going to first throw up our A Squared commercial, which is moving to iRacing next year. A Squared's final race of the season will be this Sunday. We will be crowning the championship there. Stay tuned. Check out either Race or ARCS Racing Networks or Rick James TV1. I believe our good friend Rick James will be calling the final broadcast of ARCS Xbox. So here comes the commercial, and stick with us as we go Xfinity racing here in just a few moments. Back live here at the ARCS Racing Network. Just sitting here with Kay Harvick, my good friend Kevin. Man, that was a race. That was definitely a championship race. That was exciting to see. Super exciting to see those guys kind of really rock it out. Very excited for TGM Beast. So proud to see him, that young man come home with a championship. But now looks like we're only going to see 3 drivers so far. I only see 3 of them have shown up. Looks like it's just Boiled, Glickson, and Boog. So this could be a very boring but bad to the bone race because those 3 guys are just,
They're good here.
yeah.
I mean, let's put it like this. First of all, you have Gavin, who has been very good, not only in the Xfinity side, but even in the TNT starts he had earlier on. He did very well there. He knows what he's doing. I can tell you from knowing Gavin outside of here and racing him, being very good friends with him, racing him in other leagues, and watching him race. He's very good at the shorter tracks. In fact, last week they were at Martinsville. He won that race last week. So kind of running off some momentum as well. But he very well knows what he's doing around this racetrack. He's always been good about kind of conserving his stuff and managing the tires, which is something we just talked about for the truck race a lot, and we're going to talk about it more during this Xfinity race because it's going to come up again. You look at Boyle, though, he might. I would say right now maybe has in terms of this track in particular maybe the upper hand just because of the sole fact that he just ran a full 75 lap truck race here. He finished second. Couldn't quite get the truck championship, but he's been on track today with the tire wear. Again, this is not an easy track because there's so many things to manage as a driver in terms of tires, handling, when to push, things like that. He's already been through that today in a championship scenario on this racetrack. That's something that he has as an advantage to him over both Gavin and Boog that are going to be racing in this race. So you look at that, and by the way, Boiled Ice was not slow either. He had a lot of speed, so I think he can probably translate that fairly well to the Xfinity car. And then Boog, I'm gonna be honest. I know how Boog can race. Again, he's somebody else I know fairly well outside of this. He's pretty good on these kind of 1 mile tracks as well. I know he's very good at New Hampshire. Obviously, very different from what Phoenix is. But both flat 1 mile tracks. I think he could have something to say, but he's probably maybe the underdog coming in here in terms of the title. But underdog doesn't always mean you don't have a chance. You definitely, if you're in this, you have a chance, and that's the big thing to keep in the back of our minds. SK.
Absolutely. That is a great point to have. And we're definitely going to see some craziness happen here. I know we've got a few other things coming up here soon. So just
All
kind of
good.
bear with me while I kind of get my brain in check here.
You all ready, SK?
Yes, so we are.
Okay. I'll send you. Actually, let me go do roll call real quick, and I'll send the timer, and then I will let you know when you can join.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
I tell you what, though, guys, I'll say this much, and this might be a bold prediction. I don't know. I know for trucks, I think we had 6 trucks in that race. We're actually down a championship contender. I know when we did Bristol, we didn't quite have as many cars, but they still put on a heck of a race. I don't know how many Xfinity cars we're going to have here tonight, but I tell you what, however many we do have, it's going to put on a really good show. I think either equal to the trucks. I know this might sound crazy because there's a good chance we have a smaller field than the truck series, but maybe even better than the trucks. They have more horsepower. They have more giddy up and go down the straightaways here. You can they drive a little bit differently through the corners. You can kind of beat and bang a little bit more on these, I feel like sometimes. And And oh, by the way, with the more horsepower, it means handling is going to come into play more. Meaning these guys are going to be sliding around a little bit later in the runs, especially coming out of turn two. So I'm really looking forward to this. I also think we have a lot of we have some heavy hitters in this championship battle as well as we did in the trucks. So this is going to be fun to call. I'm excited about this.
I am as well. Kind of waiting for them to send us the invite on the screen right now. You are seeing all the logos that we are going to be, all the series that we're going to be running on iRacing this coming year, including the ARCS 2 and 3 logo, because of hopefully we will get to continue running those here before February when season kicks off, if Ignition will light a fire underneath their butt and give us what we need to run those series. But looks like the invite is set out. I am going to just kind of wait a few seconds here.
You're good. You're good, SK.
All right, so we are accepting. I'm going to get in here, get
If I
Kevin
could have
Harvick
one
in
too.
here.
There we go. The intensity is building.
Let's get started.
Go. Thank you, sir.
All right, we are in, guys. ARCS 2, we are going to crown a champion in just 100 miles. If they're doing a 50%er, which we should, that's the rules. I don't know if we cut it down due to the field size, but normally this is a 200-mile race, but we're going to be doing it in 50 or 100 miles here tonight. So 100 quick laps here at Phoenix. Wonder who is going to be able to do a burnout right in front of that new cactus that they built for the flag stand. So let's get loaded in. Let's go racing. Here at Phoenix, Haha Boog in that Toyota out to a good, clean start. Larkin, if you're still in the chat, I know you're sitting there going, go Toyota, go. But we are rocking and rolling. I believe it is a Toyota and 2 Chevrolet Camaros.
Definitely appears to be the case. Boog right now trying to see what he can do here early on. Of course, Gavin not too far back, and Boyle the same thing. So these guys are already trying to see how well they can fare here this evening. But hard racing, and we do have some cars as well out here, so it's not just the championship, guys, which is good to see. SK?
No, I'm still here. I'm sorry. I was just kind of scrolling through. What's funny is a little bit of drama. So Glixen, we're used to seeing in that 92 orange machine, had a little bit of problems in testing, had to bust out the all-white test car. So see how well that fares for him. Yeah, the backup car. As Haha Boog runs away with it. Shout out to K Rexon right now running in 4th over the El Presidente Ryan Pinnell. But Haha Boog up to the front, leading this championship hunt, the silent assassin. A lot of savings. We're going to see the same here. I think stage 1, we're going to see these guys test the water, see what they can do, tear the hell out of those tires, make the adjustments, get the data, get the information. Stage 2 is probably going to see when and how they're going to be able to pass. Stage 3, gloves are coming off. Kevin, we're going to see some fist fights.
Indeed, and I think the other thing too that we're going to have in this race, I believe in stage 3 that we didn't have in the truck race. I know it's a little bit early to be talking about that, but again, same scenario as the truck race, by the way. These stages, they're just test sessions, SK. They don't really matter in terms of the championship battle. These 3 drivers, yes, 3, we're down 1 again if you're just joining us, unfortunately. But these 3 guys, They don't really care about these first 2 stages. It's all testing for them, trying to get the car right for that final stage. That's when the big money is up. Not only the checkered flag and the race win, but also that season championship for the Xfinity Series. The other thing, though, that I think we're going to have, and we'll have to get this verified when we get to the final stage, that we did not have in the truck race a little bit ago, is I think these guys are probably going to have to go down pit road during that final stage. So, that brings a whole new set of challenges to the table when we get there. We'll talk about that more when it actually comes up. But either way, tell you what, Boog, I did not expect this much out of him early. However, that also makes me wonder, is he burning his stuff off while maybe Boyle, who just came off the truck track, the truck race, he knows what he's got to do here in terms of saving. And Gavin, I know, has always been very good at saving the tires at places like this. I know he really likes this racetrack in the game. So that makes me wonder, is Boog burning his tires off too early, and is he going to get run down at the end of the stage? And could handling become a big issue? Again, you're going to see these guys get more sideways coming off the corners here in the Xfinity cars than what we did in the trucks, I think, because of the horsepower.
Absolutely. It's super exciting to see, to kind of see what's going to fare in, because right now it looks like all 3 drivers kind of have a, different in performance right now. Real spread out. These Xfinity cars are a lot harder to drive than the trucks and the Cup cars. So, Boog looks to have a huge handle on it. But we're going to see how this pans out as Boog, Glixen, and Boiled Ice all, need to start kind of thinking in the back of their head. They're going to have to start working something out quick, Kevin. What am I going to do to make up this, make up these times? How am I going to be better than the next guy? What am I going to do to my car come this next pit stop? There's 5 cars here tonight. Only 3 are vying for a championship. The other 2 are just kind of turning laps. So we really don't have to worry about track positioning. So these guys are going to be able to make all the adjustments they need, get the tires, get the fuel, and they're going to go out and race each other. And that's what we're hoping for. Right now, we're not seeing a lot of racing, Kevin, but we may see some here shortly.
Indeed, again, I'm going to reference the truck race a lot because it's the most recent thing I've seen at this racetrack. But in stage 1 of the trucks, we saw a ton of side-by-side racing, some contact, and actually starting to see Gavin and Boiled Ice starting to tighten back up a little bit for P2, or at least I thought I saw that. Maybe I didn't. But, I think in the Xfinity Series here, again, these guys trying to fill out the cars. I think maybe Boog, something he could be doing, maybe the other guys aren't, is pushing the car in this first stage, seeing exactly what its limits are, what the wear is, so he knows exactly what to adjust, in stage 2 there, before stage 2 at the end of this stage. For stage 2, see, kind of do another test with the car and see what he needs to tweak for that final stage. I don't know that these other guys are necessarily pushing the car, and honestly, again, if you're in this championship battle, SK, I think the best thing to do in stage 1 is to push the car to its limits and see exactly what you need to adjust so you can get more out of it in that final stage. And I don't see everybody doing that right now, I don't think.
No, definitely not. I really think they're just kind of, like I said, I think a lot of these drivers have tested the water. We saw Glixen back there, a few laps previous, kind of running the high side in turns 1 and 2 coming up, which is very different. But at the same time,
indeed, and
he's trying to find something.
Indeed, and I think the other thing with that as well is, I'm going to be honest, I don't fully remember, but I do believe as well, we know realistically that outside can work. There is momentum to be had, at least in turns 1 and 2 at this racetrack. 3 and 4, maybe not so much, but 1 and 2, you can carry some momentum up on that high side, up doing the Larson line. Maybe not quite that, almost up there. That does actually work. It can work. Again, it wouldn't work quite as well in the trucks because of the lack of horsepower, but again, the Xfinity kind of make up for the horsepower that the trucks don't have. You can make that work. And the other thing, sometimes that can also be good for the tires. Not all the time. Sometimes, though, running that longer distance, having to put a little bit less wheel input into the car can also be good for saving tires, and that might be something Gavin is testing. He knows the importance of making these tires last, having something left in the tires for the end of the run, and that might be something he's experimenting with here in stage 1.
Absolutely. Looks like these guys are just kind of really just kind of testing the waters. But man, Haha Boog just looks unreal. He's just way out there. Glixen looking to have a little bit of trouble in the dog leg.
Indeed. Again, it's something as well we're going to talk about. If you missed the truck race, something else as well that you're going to hear me maybe mention here and there. In terms of the tire wears, look, there's a misconception with this dog leg at Phoenix. Yeah, you can cut it. It looks very inviting to cut down what feels like about 7 or 8 lanes from the actual track to the inside wall to cut that dog leg. But I tell you what, you're actually losing at that. Yeah, you're cutting a distance off the racetrack, but you're putting more wheel input out of turn 4 to get down there. That's gonna, first of all, scrub you a little bit of speed overall, and it's also going to eat up the right front a little bit, the front tires a little bit, because you're putting more wheel input into them. You don't want to do that. And it also sometimes, depending on how well you actually get through the dog leg and cut and merge back up into the corner, it can also mess up your turn 1 entry. But the other thing that I'm going to point out is something that I don't think enough people talk about is if you don't cut the dog leg, if you run the actual dog leg, or maybe only just dip below the yellow line, you actually carry a significant amount more speed back into turn 1. So it's kind of one of those things, you kind of sort of like the momentum we talk about. You carry the momentum, you get more speed through that dog leg, you carry it in turn 1, but it also, SK, again, something we're going to talk about so much, it wears the tires out less. That's going to be something we talk about, but if your car's not handling, sometimes that dog leg, when you take the full thing, sort of acts like a corner. You can lose the nose and things like that through there. Because it looks like stage 1 is over.
That is the end of the stage. So, Haha Boog out kicking it this race. DP in the chat says, let's hope the lag don't get him late. Yeah, he's definitely been plagued by that several times. But not many cars in the lobby, so I bet that lobby is strong. Plenty of room for bandwidth. So we will see what happens as these guys are going to go down pit road, make their adjustments, get some Sunoco fuel, and some 4 fresh Goodyears. We're going to see 2 Chevrolets and a Toyota go to war in stage 2.
Hopefully, and I actually have a funny story about Boog as well. I was in a league race with him in Gavin's league at New Hampshire. I witnessed this poor man. This is how much lag has plagued him. I witnessed this poor man literally coming out of turn 4 on the last lap of the race with not a huge lead, but he wasn't going to lose the race with the remaining time on the straightaway, and he lagged out coming to the line. That's how unfortunate his luck has been with the lag. But SK, stage 2 underway. Hopefully these guys get to racing now and stop riding around. I want to see some racing.
Indeed, we all want to see some racing. Let's see it. Right now we're off to a good start. Haha Boog trying to fend off 2 very hungry young men, Glixen and Boiled Ice. Boiled Ice feeling pretty hot after his runner-up finish in the truck race, in the truck championship. Looking to try and maybe come home with an Xfinity championship. Glixen, we've seen go out and claim TNT wins in our Tier 1 series. So that is very exciting to see as we rock and roll on. Haha Boog still looks to just be so much faster.
Does he have a nitrous bottle? Remember that Darrell Waltrip story, dropped the nitrous out of the A post? I'm wondering if that's the case with Mark. That's what it seems like right now, Boog. That's what it seems like. Tell you what, though. He launched pretty quickly, and I know we're only a couple laps into this stage, SK. I will say this, though. It does seem like these guys are maybe able to stay a little bit closer to Boog. That's not exactly what they want to do. They want to be able to pass him, but they're also closer to one another for second place.
Speaking of passing, Glixen gets around Boiled Ice for the first time tonight. So Glixen now in second place. Let's see if maybe Glixen's got a little bit better handle on this car. than what he did earlier. I know that he was in, talking to TGM Beast before the race, kind of asking about presets, about what he would run. And let's see if maybe he's got a handle on it, as he's really going to try and build momentum coming off that corner to try and track down the silent assassin in that 66 Toyota of Haha Boog. Glix or Boiled Ice just kind of, really trying to hopefully maybe try and get a handle on it. Like I said, he was back there talking to TGM Beast before the race after they got done in the trucks, and I don't think it's working out too well. Yeah, I don't think it's working out too well for him. I'm not sure if he's got quite the setup right, as he's having a struggle fest trying to keep up with our second place, as our second place driver, Glixen, having a hard time trying to keep up with Haha Boog.
Indeed, but again, they have made progress here early on. I can tell you by this point in stage one, Boog had about the same size lead he had most of the stage, so they've kept this closer, and that makes me wonder, is Gavin, or maybe Boiled Ice as well, have they adjusted the cars? Because they're closer to this point than what they were last stage. There's progress there in terms of speed. Are they saving something in terms of tires to try to get him on the later run? Boog, I'm talking about, from the lead, or is Boog maybe backing off and trying to save a little bit? Did he learn, maybe I want to back off a little bit in stage one? And it's hard to tell, and that's kind of the fun part about racing. There's an unpredictability factor. You don't really know what these guys are doing. We can only guess.
Definitely, we can only guess indeed. We're definitely going to see some fun racing, hopefully, in stage 3. Right now, we're kind of just running around single file, which is not normally you see a track like Phoenix. Phoenix, well, of course, it's just a car count, guys, because, we've got, unfortunately, only 3 cars here battling for a championship. But, short tracks or intermediate tracks, really, such as Phoenix, because Phoenix is more of an intermediate track than a short track, you get a lot of action. But these guys just seem to have a little bit of struggle with it, as they're trying to, of course, they're trying to get a handle on these Xfinity cars. Trucks, those things can hook up on a gravel road. The Cup cars, same thing. These Xfinity cars, technology-wise, these things suck, Kevin. They're lightweight. They're about 400 pounds less than what the Cup cars are. Yeah, sure, they've got less horsepower, but how the bodies are, the high cut bumpers. These things are a bear to drive.
They are, buddy. In terms of where I stand, I like that. I want these guys to have to work on these cars. I don't want them to be easy to drive. Easy to drive isn't always fun. Harder to drive, though. They have to work the wheel more. They have to slide around more. And speaking of working, this gap between second and third place has tightened up just a little bit. I feel like from what it was earlier. Maybe Boyle's starting to put a little bit of work in. Are they catching Boog as well? Let's see. It
looks like they might be shrinking up on him just a tad bit. Looks like Haha Boog and that Toyotas took a little bit of advice from, I call him the greatest real estate agent of ARCS, Lurkin Tom, who buys real estate cheap and sells it back at a high price, because he can get out front in a hurry and makes you work for every inch of it. And that's exactly what Haha Boog has done. He has unleashed the beast, laid down the hammer, and has went out and got a commanding lead. And now the 92 and the 6 are really going to have to try and chase him down. But I don't see it happening in stage 2.
Indeed, and at this point, again, all you can do is adjustments. I do believe we're going to have a pit stop in the final stage, and that could very well be the breaking point for one of these guys or some of these guys. It's hard to say. Trucks, there was guys blowing tires on the last lap. A couple guys, I think, blew a tire on the last lap of the truck race. Final stage of this Xfinity race is going to be longer, and sometimes these can be a little bit harder on the tires. depending on how you're driving them than what the trucks are. I think we're definitely going to see a pit stop, and that could be a big deal for this final stage. But right now, Boog has led every single lap of this race. He has absolutely dominated so far. I expected him to be quick, but I expected it to be a little bit closer than what it's appearing to be right now, SK. He's put on a clinic so far. I mean, if these guys can't find something for this final stage, then I mean, do we go ahead and call him the champ? I don't know. He's rolling right now.
Well, it's not over till the fat lady sings, but somebody better start queuing up the fat lady, because if it's looking not too pretty for Blixen and Boiled Ice. So, unfortunate circumstances. That 96 or that 66 Toyota has just been not only a rocket ship, but that thing is just glued to the racetrack.
Indeed, it's I was worried at first when he launched back in stage 1 like this that he might be burning the tires off. That hasn't been the case. The handling has still been on the car as well. It's not like he's lost speed. If anything, he's almost grown the gap a little bit. At the very least, it's stable. So he launches so well, and then he saves and doesn't lose it either on the longer run. Like kind of we saw some of the guys in the truck race do. They launch really, really well, really quickly, get a gap, and then they lose it later on. We saw ASAP do that, and actually cost him the championship back in the truck race. So we haven't seen that out of the 66 yet. He's been checking all the boxes, and that's what you need to do in a championship race. But in terms of Gavin and Boiled Ice, that is not what they want to see him do. They want him to mess up. These guys have been running well, tonight is too. I haven't seen any mistakes out of any of these three guys. The problem is Boog is just that much faster, and when he's not making mistakes, it's hard to do much about it other than try to find some setup help.
Definitely really exciting. Looks like that was the end of the stage. Boog takes another stage victory. Doesn't count towards points. It's whoever finishes higher at this race claims championships. Whoever wins between these three claims it. But 2 stage wins, I know who I'm putting my money on. Every lap led, 2 stage wins. I know who I'm putting my money on this final race. After about 15 laps or so, we're going to pull Ryan in and get a lap count and also see if we may have to see green flag pit stops or not. So let's see what's happening. Folks, those watching, if you're watching, who do you got going for our ARCS 2 champ? Type it in the chat. Let us know. Our money's on Boog right now.
See what they got. They just adjusted the cars again. Are they going to get closer in competition? Let's find out. Green flag. Stage 3 underway from Phoenix for ARCS Xfinity.
All right, these three now muscle it up. Looks like the number 6 of Boiled Ice looking to try to make a move early. Didn't quite pan out. That speed of that Toyota is just unreal right now.
I don't know. Again, it looked like he might, if he could have completed it, it would have been interesting to see, because then at least he could have gone in defensive mode and tried to hold off the 66. I don't know that he would have made able to do it, but it would have been something. He wasn't even able to get up in front to clear, and now again, Boog is trying to set sail, and I tell you what, unless these guys have found speed, which is appearing to kind of launch the same way off this restart that they've been launching the other 2 stages. So, I mean, if we do this again, then unless Boog makes a mistake, which he hasn't done all night, what do these guys do, SK? Again, maybe if there's a pit stop, the only thing I could think of is if we had to pit, maybe they try some sort of short pit strategy. I don't know if fuel saving could come into play. I know it can come into play in the Cup Series when you go here, but I don't know that it would come into play in Xfinity. Something along the strategy line right now would be about the only thing. I will say this, though. It is a little bit closer than what it has been.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can think of if I was the number 92 of Blixen is stay close enough to put pressure on Boog. Let him try to maybe burn his stuff off, but without trying to burn my own stuff off, which is probably the hardest thing to do, is put pressure on another driver and not burn your stuff up. And that's what it's gonna come down to is, you know, who's gonna burn their stuff up the least come these last final laps. We saw it in the truck race. Tires were very important. In these Xfinity tires, these tires just don't last at all. It's almost like we're driving around on paper mache in some tracks. And, you know, with it being relatively flat and how you have to kind of get on and off the throttle and kind of throw these cars around, you're gonna chew those Goodyears up.
Well, looky look. Here we go.
Absolutely.
They found something, SK.
The number 92 of Blixen found something indeed. He is right there with Boiled. Or not Boiled, Haha Boog. Boiled Ice back there still kind of struggling. You know, we kind of saw that out of Nick Cressy, you know, in the truck race where he just didn't have it and was making this kind of the slightest mistakes. Looks like Boiled Ice kind of having the same issue back there, which is very uncommon for him because he is the Ice Man. But Blixen really rocking and rolling as he's trying to stay on the bumper of the 66. Let's actually go ahead, while we've got plenty of time, let's go ahead and pull Ryan in real quick and get like some kind of race updates. Ryan, it's SK in the booth. Can you hear me, buddy? Hey, just out of curiosity, do you know if we're going to see any pit stops this round and about how many laps have we got to go?
Oh yeah, definitely there'll be pit stops this round with the main green, which I'm assuming we're going 4 guys. More likely we will. We got about 45 laps to go, so when the leaders take the start-finish line, there'll be 44 left. I'm showing about 30 laps of fuel on my car, and like I said, I just kind of been cruising, so they're probably even less than that. So I would say the next probably 25, 30 laps, you'll see green flag pit stops here at Phoenix.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and send you down, and that answers our question. Now we can start talking strategies. Thank you, buddy.
Yep, no problem.
All right, so Kevin, there it is. We might see some strategies. Who's going to be able to say it? You know, so now question, if you were Boiled Ice and we knew that we were going to have to go down pit road and you were already this far back, what's your game plan? Do you continue to fall farther behind and maybe try to save just maybe a lap or so, or maybe like about 2 or 3 laps worth of better lap times because if your tires is a tad bit better when they're starting to struggle a little bit? Or do you try to play catch up and try to be on the same cycle? What's the strategy call here?
I think I don't think, and I don't know exactly how many laps short on fuel they get. I don't know exactly how many they get on the car. Ryan said he had about like 30 left. Some of the leaders up here might have a little bit less than that. When he was talking, we were about 44 laps to go. So you're looking, they can go, it sounds like, till about, I'd say at least 20 laps to go, maybe a little bit further than that in this race. You're not saving that much fuel. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to pit.
Well, no,
and to be honest,
I wasn't saying try to save for the end of the race. I'm saying, do you try to save a little bit so when they go down pit road, you can hammer it out and try and make up some ground, do a quick stop, maybe just take rights and like a splash of fuel and try to come out right with them? Or, you know, like, so what kind of the game, like, you know, will that pay off, or will short pitting be the way to go?
I think in this situation, while I kind of thought about it, and I think you have to weigh your options. If he continues to stay out here, and he tries to do, as you were saying, you know, save a little bit, and try to go a little bit further, maybe just a lap, or even just try to do the 2 tires, and you know, do something along those lines. I think the problem he's going to run into is he's still going to be out here on track losing time. He's clearly a little bit off pace from what Gavin and what Boog are running. Unfortunately it's been prevalent all day long for Boiled Ice. I don't think that's going to be as beneficial. And then if you take 2 tires, you run the risk of possibly blowing out one of those left side tires. And I can also tell you, a lot of times when you put on 2 tires, it will absolutely throw the handling of the car way off from what it's been. And that is not fun to deal with at a flat track like Phoenix. Honestly, I think his best bet to try to gain time at this point is to do a short pit, but I think you don't do the typical short pit where you kind of pit maybe just 2 or 3 laps earlier than what you would expect them to come in. I think if you can, you try to do a little bit of a larger short pit on these guys. Come in maybe 5, 6, 7, even as much as 10 laps earlier if you can. And while you might pay for it on the end of the run, it would at least give you a chance. You can go run those guys back down while they stay on the racetrack. You're going to gain a lot of time. The tire fall off here in terms of lap time is over a second at least. So if he goes and does that, it's
a
a
little
very
bit of
long
contact between the 92 and the 6 or 66. They are side by side. Sorry to cut you off. Looks like
this is going to be the lead change.
Yeah,
Gavin looks. Mark had to get out of the gas. Not quite.
Nope, not quite. Blitzen almost was able
to
get
around
Boog, but Boog just still has his number. Looks like Blixen's long run car is really coming into play. And
indeed, this is the longest run we've had, SK, by the way.
Yes, Boiled Ice really falling even farther behind. So I kind of wonder if he's not like saving tire. So maybe he can push it a little harder in the last point of that stint and try to make up the time that way, when these guys start struggling. But it looks like he's losing too much ground. DP and, DP, we couldn't agree more. This is definitely a tire race. So saving them tires sometimes are going to be the best. And this is exactly, the type of race that I love. I love good, fast, hardcore competition. But working your brain, trying to play strategy a little bit, is also one of the most important parts of racing. And I love the fact that we're doing this in a championship, that we are going to be kind of playing a bit of a strategy call, and we may see some pay off. We may see some, just go throw your race completely out the window. But Haha Boog in that Toyota Supra is just looking super. Sorry.
He is, but I do want to go back to what kind of we were talking about before, which was, to sum it up, SK, I think in terms of what Boiled Ice needs to do at this point is, if he can, I don't know what the exact fuel number is. I'm going to assume this is something he would be able to do, though, is try to pit maybe 8 to 10 laps earlier. I know this is going to be a big gamble, but at this point, you got to try to throw a Hail Mary. You're continuing to fall off these guys. At this point, you got to try something that's way outside the box. Otherwise, you're not going to have any chance, because I don't think we're getting a caution. As Ryan said, there's not a lot of guys in here, and they've been very clean all night. We didn't have a caution in the truck race at all, so and they were racing a lot harder in that truck race than what they've been here in the Xfinity race. So I don't think you're getting that. Boiled Ice needs, I think, to probably do that short pit strategy, coming at 8 to 10 laps early, and then put on 4 tires and use the tires that he puts on, and go try to cut this gap down and hope that these guys actually decide to go all the way in all the way to the end of their fuel, or at least almost there. That would cut him off, potentially over around 10 seconds. I don't know exactly what his gap is. And then when they go to pit, go into a little bit of tire conservation mode if you can, and then just try to go in absolute defense mode. I think is probably his only chance. He's got to try something, though, outside the box, and I think the short pit, a big short pit, not a close one, but a big short pit is going to be the way to go for Boiled Ice. But tell you what, Gavin has definitely found something. I thought he might excel in the longer run. Boog has had a good car in the long run, still continues to be fast, but Gavin is all over him. You talked about Gavin's got to keep the pressure on him. He is achieving every bit of that. He is all over. If Boog makes a mistake, Gavin is right here to pounce on it. And again, pit stops, you talk about that as well. Very long pit road, the pit crew times, you can't control those. So still so many factors left to be figured out here in this one.
Absolutely. As the pit window starts winding down, I just want to give a quick shout out to our president, Ryan Pinnell. So mid-season, he's in contention for A squared and trucks. Having a good year, got a couple wins under his belt, had some good point seasons. Has to move, go somewhere where the internet is not very good. And like a trooper and a true owner, he has been at every race, organizing it, riding around in the back, which I know is killing him. I mean, he's literally cruising down, every racetrack like he was, trying to cruise down, the historic Route 66. Just, his race cars basically turned into a poor grocery getter. But kudos off to him for making almost every race, running these races, and providing, good racing for us to broadcast, along with COT Tommy and Deplorable Me, Lurk and Tom. You four have really gave us something super special here on the Xbox side. Let's pop back up to the race leaders of Haha Boog
And Gavin, and these guys, it continues. It's spread out a little bit, but it's definitely going to, I think, come down. I don't think this is this is over by any stretch of the imagination. If I know Gavin, I think he might be saving a little bit once again, trying to maybe see if Boog, I keep calling him Mark, Boog burns up his stuff maybe a little bit more. Gavin going to try to save, maybe try to make a late charge here. And again, as well, the other thing is, again, that pit stop is going to be so crucial. That could easily flip this championship over. Somebody speeds up. Uh-oh.
Hey, Glixen goes down pit road. Looks like he's electing to short pit. So
like that.
Let's pop up Haha Boog now down pit road. Looks like Boiled Ice going to be doing the same thing.
I just saw, is that Ryan that still is out there?
Yeah,
Could
Ryan,
he be trying something?
Ryan's going to get his lap back. He was just lapped by the leaders. So here comes Glixen out of the pit. Right now, he is going to be technically scored a lap down, but he's about ready to get it back as they are now on pit road. So we're going to see where they come out and how Glixen manages. The exit of pit road and this first outlap is the most important right now, Kevin.
Indeed, getting the most out of your tires, and this pit road is agonizingly long. I can tell you that much. Here comes Boog out of his pit stall. This is going to be interesting here. I tell you what, I don't know. Boog did a really good job of seeing what Gavin did there and getting on top of it as quick as possible. We will have to see if Gavin gets by here. Sometimes the short pit works, but Boog might have actually done such a good job of getting on top of that he might be okay.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't make up enough time on the outlap. So Haha Boog still in the lead. Led every lap of this race so far.
Even during pit cycles, and that's impressive.
Even in during pit cycles, that is just absolutely mind-boggling, the performance of this 66 Toyota. So, unfortunately, it looks like Boiled Ice just didn't get what he wanted out of that, so he's going to be way behind as well. So it looks like it's just going to be a battle between these two.
And again, I will say this. Gavin, I think, has speed. I don't know that we've seen everything that 92 has. I think he's got just a little bit extra saved in there. I just really have that feeling. It's almost been like so many times he's gotten to Boog, he gets underneath of him, and he just doesn't complete the pass because I don't think he wants to necessarily force an issue, that early. But I feel like he has a little bit of extra in that car in him if he needs to use it. And I think at some point it's going to come down to that. I don't know that Boog has any extra. He very well may too, but it's hard to say because he's led all the time. He hasn't necessarily needed to tap into anything extra if he's had it. So we don't really know what he's got. But I really do truly feel like Gavin has just a little bit extra in him. And this, I think, could come down to the wire depending on how these guys now conserve their tires. I don't know exactly how many laps there are left and how much conserving they're going to have to do. But there's going to be a point where Gavin has to push, and he has to start pushing before Boog does, so he can cut the time down. There's going to be kind of a when do you do that question, and that's a big question because that could be make or break for the championship.
Absolutely, and but Boog, just that short run, mid run, long run, all run, no run,
running away.
Yeah, he can't. He's just unstoppable. He has just been the Terminator here at Phoenix. He just has not. He started this race on the pole, and he started the first lap on the lead, and it's been see you later the entire time.
And he hasn't even lost the lead. He's had a couple. He had Boyle at the very start of this stage, poke a nose under, try to get him. Never actually got in front of him. Gavin's made a couple of looks. Almost actually thought he was going to get it done for a little while there during that last run. He couldn't get it done. Boog has held the lead this entire race, and it's impressive. It really is. I did not expect him to have this much speed. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer. Gavin has definitely closed the gap down between from what it was in the first two stages. But Boog has still dominated this, and I did not expect that type of domination out of him, or out of any of these guys tonight. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer than this. I still don't think it's over, but I tell you what, again, my money's still right now got to be on old Haha Boog. He is definitely laughing right now behind the wheel of that race car because of how good he's doing. He's just slapping these guys in the face.
Absolutely. Speaking of lap count, let's go ahead and grab Ryan real quick. And Ryan, how many laps to go, buddy?
The leaders just took 14 to go, so they'll be coming to 13 at the line.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Into 3 and 4 goes Boog.
So 13 laps remaining here at Phoenix for ARCS 2 Xfinity here in 2021 Season 2. We are going to be crowning a champion. This has been an exciting year so far, and he's going to add his name to the list of ARCS 2 champions. What a race we've got going on.
I have a question to ask you. I don't know if you can get to this. It's a little bit hard for me to get to it at the moment. Does Boog have any wins in ARCS? I know Gavin does. I feel like Boog does, but I'm not sure, actually. I forgot to look at that before the race. Because this could be his first win as well.
No, Haha Boog does have one win this season.
Okay.
Yep.
So going for 2.
So he's going for 2, and he's going to add his name to the list of ARCS 2 champions, such as, to add his name next to Lurkin Tom and Term V, who were Xfinity champions, as TGM Beast joined Bossy, Geo, and Boiled Ice for truck champions tonight. So we're crowning a new champion here. This is going to be awesome. This is just the kind of racing that we wanted to see. Well, not actually. We really wanted to see close-knit combat-style racing.
We want more of the truck race.
But Xfinity, Haha Boog, despite the non-action, has just put on a clinic. Fans watching, take notes. This is how you go out and dominate a race to claim a championship. He's doing it in spectacular fashion.
Indeed, and I'll say this much, SK. While it's not been the side-by-side battling, the beating and banging we saw in trucks, sometimes as well as a racing fan, and I like to think of myself as a traditional race fan. I don't like a whole lot of gimmicks, and we don't get that here, but sometimes I can appreciate a good old tail kicking. I really can appreciate that sometimes, and I think that's what this 66 has done here this evening is just honestly kick the doors in on the rest of this field.
He really has, and it's been a great run so far. I know that Boiled Ice and Blixen were like, not what we were hoping for tonight, but Haha Boog is definitely ha-ha in his way all the way to the finish. I believe we are at 8 laps to go, maybe 7. Kind of lost track.
Boog's going so fast, now we're losing track of laps. But no, I'll say this as well. Honestly, I think right now Boog has extended his lead quite a bit over Gavin. If Gavin had anything extra left in that 92, I think he would have tapped into it at this point. He has not really closed it down. Unless Boog makes a mistake, unless he blows a tire, something like that. Obviously, I believe he's about to come up and maybe lap Ryan again. Ryan, I don't think will be an issue. He knows what's at stake here. He's not gonna. I don't think Ryan is gonna do anything crazy here. He's very respectable about that stuff. So I don't think that'll be a problem. Other than that, we're going to be, I would assume, like you said, maybe 6 or 7 to go here now. Closing in on cautions, closing, not that that's really mattered all night. But other than that, Boog at this point just has to be smooth, not make a mistake like he's done all night, and just bring this thing back around here a few more times, and he will be an ARCS champ.
Just really kind of taking it easy through these turns. He's got plenty of room, so there's no reason to push the car. I would almost put the car in cruise control a little bit, making sure that I got off these corners cleanly, because he is just in another zip code right now. I've not seen
Actually, is
this.
that boiled ice? I see as well.
Yeah. Boiled ice is starting to come up to Glixen, but he won't catch him either. Haha Boog is just his own zip code right now, almost in a different planet. In a dominating performance. Caution should be turned off. So we are smooth sailing. Not that it mattered, like you said earlier, Kevin.
No, yeah, he's been gone. You said we're on a different planet. I believe it's Planet Boog that we're currently living on. It seems to be a desert-like planet, and he seems to be ruling it very well. No, but again, it surprised me. Look, I guess I made the mistake, and maybe he heard me, and that kind of lit a fire under him. Who knows? Because I know he was in here during the truck race. I know Boog pretty well. In fact, I was talking to him probably, I think, right before I came over to the truck chat for the truck race. I was talking to him for a little bit. But I did not expect the absolute dominance. I made the mistake of calling him the underdog in this scenario, just because he hasn't raced as many races this season as Gavin and as Boiled Ice. And Gavin's done very well. Again, he won last week at Martinsville, Gavin did. So, I was kind of going off of that. But again, I also made the quote that, just because you're the underdog doesn't mean you have a chance. And boy, did he prove that to be true, because, again, dominance. If he continues this, he will literally lead every single lap of this race, SK, this championship race.
Probably when he strapped his helmet on. Whoa!
He tried. Oh, maybe that's the end.
That is the end of the race.
No, so let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep,
yeah.
that's the end of the race. So, up in the mountains, there's a giant Toyota sign, and it shines down on him tonight, winning this race. Or no, wait. Yeah, I believe he's just going down pit road. Not sure what's going on. Just kind of witness and watch. Steak's not having a lap count. Yeah, these guys are moving really slow, so that is definitely the end of the race.
I believe his AI maybe took him down pit road, possibly.
Yeah, maybe he blew a tire right at the start-finish line. Looked like he got really, really loose.
I think he might have been doing one of those, I have a big enough lead, I might as well finish the race in style. I think he might have been doing one of those. But either way, man, what a race for Boog.
Indeed. That is it. Let's pull up the podium. We will be right back with interviews with our top 3 in ARCS 2 and crowning a champion. back here from the ARCS Racing Network podium, standing by with our third place finisher, Boiled Ice. Man, I don't want to try and poke a little bit, but it looked like you struggled really bad out there in that Xfinity car after having such a great performance in the truck. You know, Haha Boog went out, literally led every lap of that race. But third place, nothing to shake your head at. You come home third in the championship points. And nobody needs to know that Croton didn't show up. You could always say, "Hey, I finished ahead of Croton in points." So that is also a major feat in itself. But here you are coming in bronze medalist in ARCS 2. Man, that was a totally different racetrack in that Xfinity car, wasn't it, buddy?
I just completely missed every single mark. I was sitting there trying to learn from Boog, trying to run the same line. I just didn't have the speed that he had. I'm not sure where I went wrong because I went with a tighter setup. Like I went with the 5, hoping maybe this tight setup might give me something on the long runs. But the entire time, it was just pulling time. And then I sit there and I go way looser, trying to see if that helps me. And he's still pulling time the entire time. And no matter what I did to try and adjust the car, I just couldn't figure out what he had. And he had it from the get-go. So I don't know where I fell flat. I tried running the same line as him. I mean, there was obviously something I was missing. I mean, I ran plenty of practice by myself, but obviously this is my first Xfinity race actually at this track, so it clearly showed.
Yeah, definitely showed here tonight, but you definitely gave a valiant effort here trying to track down those two, but nothing to hang your head over. Hopefully, we've been talking about it towards the end of Xfinity that, maybe Ignition might get off their, pardon my French, but get off their asses and give us what we need so we could start seeing more of you guys. But once again, congratulations. One hell of a year in both trucks and Xfinity. You got to do some TNT racing, had a little bit of, good luck there, but Glixen and Boog, Crotum, a poor boy, you guys just put Term V, definitely everybody put on a great show this year in Xfinity. So we thank
Yeah,
you.
it certainly was a lot of fun to be a part of this. And I hope Ignition does something, but if not, well, then I surely hate for this to be the way that I go out in ARCS. But sometimes you can't really control what happens, you give it your best shot and not everything turns out. So it certainly was fun.
Don't worry, we will never die, as DP would say. We will never die. But now standing by with our silver medalist, Kevin is standing by with his good friend who we were kind of joking about earlier that he had to bring out the backup car after a testing incident and still able to pull off second place.
Indeed. Gavin, you got a copy, sir?
Yep.
Man, I tell you what, obviously, things did not start off good. Obviously, I've known you for a while. I've known old Boog over here for a while as well. Both of you have been very strong on the shorter tracks. I kind of said before the race, Boyd might have a slight advantage over you guys just because he had coming fresh off the truck race. He had the track time in a championship scenario here. You guys hadn't had that in terms of recently. I know you guys both have been in championship scenarios in other leagues before, but in terms of this, it started off you weren't quite there. I mean, Mark over here, he absolutely flew away from the field in the first two stages. What was up with the car there, and what did you find? Because it seemed like there did find something in stage 3. That kind of kept you at least up to pace with old Boog. Obviously, made a couple attempts to pass him, didn't quite work. But what exactly was up with the car, and what did you find in stage 3 to get the pace back?
Mostly the adjustments I made was I put about 10 to 15. I think that's what it was, 10 to 15% tape on there. I started messing with tire pressures, doing my typical. I like to add on the rights, and then towards the end there, I wanted it to be a little bit grippier towards the beginning. So I lowered the pressures back down and lowered the lefts more, so it would have the same effect, just grippier. and we lowered the wedge a lot too. That car was really tight. I was on a 7, and for some reason it just would not turn at all. It did not make a single bit of sense. Because typically when I come here, I normally run a 3 if I'm on 3 times wear, and a 5 if I'm on 2 times wear, which is what we're on here. So it was very, very off, and that could come from playing ignition too much, maybe. But yeah, I hope we get private lobbies on ignition. Though I'm feeling really confident with that game right now. I think I've learned it pretty quick, and there's more to be done. But I can't wait for more racing out here in this league, whether it's iRacing or whatnot. I mean, I'm willing to do what it takes to get on track with everybody in here. I really love this group and love what everyone in ARCS is putting on. So I love this place. It's one of my favorite leagues personally.
Indeed, I know you're the one that really kind of got me looking at these guys, and I've definitely enjoyed my time here as well. These guys are awesome, but I do have to ask. Obviously, we get into stage 3. It seemed like you had the long run speed. I can't say I'm surprised by that. That kind of seems like the one thing you always bring to Phoenix when I've seen your other leagues is the long run speed. What exactly though did you need to do differently though? Because for a while you were kind of on Boog's bumper, making moves, peeking to the inside. At one point, I actually thought you might be able to clear him, but you just couldn't quite get enough to get in front and clear. And he got back and of course, eventually ran away. What did you feel like you needed to do differently, whether it be strategy wise or anything like that? I know it looked like you maybe tried to short pit, but he got on, realized what you were doing very quickly, and kind of limited your gains.
Well, I was talking to him middle of the race. He took full fuel there at the end of stage 2. I didn't. I realized I took 30 at the beginning, and I was going to try to cut it down, or I think it was 24, something like that, into the third stage. And I was just going to try to split it in half and see what happened. But I think the car, it was just like, it was awkward. It was too tight in 3 and 4, and it was way too loose in 1 and 2. I couldn't hold it where I wanted to hold it. And so I was running deeper than I wanted to in 1 and 2, and then in 3 and 4 I couldn't get deep enough, so it was just backwards. The car just didn't handle as best as I wanted to. That, and I just haven't played this game since literally last Tuesday, so where we won Martinsville. So it's been a minute since I played this game, but I really enjoyed racing here tonight and really enjoyed watching Mark win. That's what I was going to get into. I was hoping one of us would win it, since me and him are good buds, but I'm glad at least he won it, and I came up second. I was hoping I could have won it, but I just didn't have it.
Indeed, man. Obviously, though, you come up second in the championship. That's no slouch of a season. Several wins. You did very well up in TNT as well when you got your starts up there. A couple of wins. So overall, an amazing season. Obviously, not quite the championship you wanted, but I know I'm sure you're happy for Mark. I know y'all are good friends, and I kind of fall into that as well. So, congratulations, man, on not only this run tonight, but obviously an amazing season overall.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Indeed, and now SK, it's kind of funny because this is sort of a reveal for y'all, not for me as much, or Gavin, but I know you guys. This is a little bit funny. I was able to pull some strings. Oh, I hope he didn't just do what I think. But I was able to pull some strings, and I got old Mr. Boog in here. We have the champion, his second career win. More importantly, he absolutely dominated this race, led every single lap, and won the championship. You've got old Boogster.
Indeed. 2021 Season 2 ARCS 2 champion, Haha Boog. I call you the silent assassin. And tonight, you went out and just slaughtered those two boys as you dominated every race. I know you're a quiet man, so I'll let you say a quick couple words, but congratulations on your Season 2 championship.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All
First
right.
off, I'd like to thank Rylan, guys, helps out the championship part for the Hawks. The broadcast has been really nice and cool to listen to. I appreciate Boyle and Gavin racing me clean tonight. It was a good battle at the end, but yeah.
Well, Boog, once again, thank you so much for racing. And of course, hopefully, we will, like I said, maybe do something in the future. But you are going down in history as Season 2 champion. So you're going to join names like Lurkin Tom and Term V in our Hall of Fame on racearcs.com. So once again, thank you so much. And that is going to conclude our broadcast for tonight. Once again, of course, visit racearcs.com. We have everything going on in the league right now. You can find there. Check us out. A Squared is coming up on Sunday. And I meant to ask Ryan before he got off. Kind of keep an eye on either ARCS Racing Network or Rick James TV1, because I believe Rick may make a special appearance at A Squared and do the A Squared race. So once again, thank you guys very much. This has been an absolute pleasure. I'm just glad I was able to make it back for the last race. Hats off to Deplorable Me, COT Tommy, Ryan Pinnell, and Lurkin Tob for giving us this amazing race. This is SK and K Harvick fan 429 saying thank you guys very much for the last ARCS broadcast for Xbox.